guys, welcome back. Today I'm starting a new full color demo, and it comes from Fairy Miracles. It was inspired by my baby fish tank, the colors in my baby fish tank, and we're going to begin with the pole and doing it in the hot pink and raspberry with some white in it. I love this color combination. I've mentioned it in the past. It's one of my go-to color combinations for cutesy things. The blue is going to be electric blue, indigo blue, and white. And there goes the indigo blue. Because it's a pole, remember, it's a cylinder, and cylinders always have the light line going straight down. That's just the natural position of a light on a cylinder. So that's not anything you have to think of. Just remember and do it that way. If you do it in the middle, the light line goes in the middle, it will look like it's like falling over. Now I'm blending in the indigo blue with the electric blue, and I got my raspberry going into my pinks. I stuck in a little bit of cloud blue. Sometimes when I am doing the blues, I don't stretch it that far. It just happens with the blue. And if I want to get a good gradient into the white, a little bit of cloud blue will ensure that gradient comes out good. And let's see. This pole took me a long time to do. It's such a small area. I think I did 3 layers on it in total. Maybe 3 or 4. And now I'm finishing it up with an outline of the indigo blue, going through the pink and the blue. And that just gives it a hard line on the outside that you would expect to see on a pole. Brightening up my white, and we're done. Moving on to the same color combinations on the top and the same color combinations for the bow. Doing it the exact same way. The top was a little bit easier because it's an arrow. Arrows are always much easier. Remember, when the 2 points of an arrow come together, you darken up that tip. It's just because there would be a natural shade coming where 2 points meet, leaving the middle as my highlight. Since the top was made out of material, at least it is in my mind, the light line would be a little bit more diffused. If it was made out of metal, it would be a harder line. So just keep that in mind of what type of material you are coloring, what it actually is, and gauge your the way your light is either diffuse or hard. Starting now with the blue, and I'm going to just work my way around very simply. Anybody could do it. As soon as I got this picture, like the book came, I knew I would be doing this. I continued moving along with the bows in the same color palette. Remember that the light line goes to the direction that you are bending the material, and in this way it's going around like a cylinder, so my lighting would be long. And then in the middle, I'm bending it over, so you would have, I'm bending it over in the opposite direction, so in the middle you would have the gradient going in the opposite direction. And you'll see it in just a minute or two when I develop the whole entire thing. I just alternated it pink, blue, to make it cute. Same 4 colors. Working with the indigo blue now. I have a standard gold palette that I like to use. Even though there are many different variations of it, I always go with basically the same colors. I may add in something or use more or less of one of the elements depending on the colors in the picture. I wanted this to look really bright and bold, so I added a lot of the Sienna Brown in it. And that's always my beginning color. After getting enough of the brown so that it looks like it's turning a corner, I'm going to move on to my next color. And my next color is always goldenrod. Goldenrod, now let's talk a little bit about color and why it works. Goldenrod is a yellow, and it does have a little flash of the redder or oranger side of it. The sienna is a brown pencil, which is a mixture of many different colors, but it tends to lean more on the red side. You add that yellow with the red, which sit next to each other on the color chart anyways, and you will always get a good blend because the colors are going to match. Now, next week, what I'm really looking forward to is we're going to be working on colors and really understanding how I mix my colors and just automatically know what's going to look good with some things but not with others. And I'm going to teach you my little tricks and secrets on that. So that's coming up all of next week. Now I'm moving into the sand, the next color. Sometimes I use Canary Yellow if I really want it bright, but in this case I just picked up a sand and I'm adding some, what is that? Okay, it's sand, and I'm mixing it with the Sienna Brown, which also works in the same way. The yellow and the red, it creates a little bit of an orange. And here I'm adding in some white just to make sure it really goes the full spectrum of the blend. Going over it with some, second layers of goldenrod, making sure my siennas are darkened in. I'm adding in here some Tuscan red and some Canary Yellow for really bright spots. And when I'm done, it worked out. You just have to, a lot of people are afraid to render gold. They don't think they do it right. It only takes practice. Okay, I'm adding in some indigo blue. Indigo blue is my go-to color for highlighting, or not highlighting, shadowing gold. For some reason, the blue in there just gets picked up by the brown. It doesn't come out as being brown. I think it's because the red and the blue mixed with the yellow will create brown. So I think that's why it just works. And on the bottom, instead of sand, I want a really bright bottom, and I went with the Canary Yellow. So it would be sienna, goldenrod, Canary Yellow. And as you see, it's getting very brassy. You could tone down the brass. That brassy tone is created by the sienna. And of course, you can just tone that down. Use less of the sienna, more of the sand and canary yellow. So it's all a matter of taste and just getting used to using that color palette. Adding more indigo blue. I use indigo blue to shadow a lot of things, sometimes on faces. When it's mixed with the beiges, come out really good. And now it's just more of the same. We've had 3 days of rain out here in the desert. I am so rained out. I don't know how people around the country deal with large amounts of rain. I guess we're going into monsoon season here. And believe me, 3 days of rain in a row is a lot for where I live. I don't think we got 3 days of rain the entire summer. Okay, on the bottom, I'm adding in the sienna. And just making sure the edges are standing out. And for those of you who are new and you're looking at my pencils, my older subscribers already know why there is color on the ends of my pencils. I mark my sets. So each set has like a different color nail polish. This way I could just keep track of which pencil. It's just my own quirky little thing. If I have a missing pencil from a set, I know, how old it is. Just part of my own personal quirky system. That pink on the end of the goldenrod means it came from my face set of Prismacolors. Okay, so now I'm changing it over to creating the I guess like the stone jewel on this, and I made it an opal. And I did that, I have a tutorial on it, but I did that with the pastels, but I added in a little bit of pastel green, and then I muted it down with some white, added in a little bit of aquamarine, true green, cloud blue. You see how the pencil blend sort of comes together in a big sheet at the top? Well, just like the pyramid picture that we looked at earlier this week, the feathers on that picture would be the same as the bottom of this. And I am handling it individually so that you could tell that it's an individual piece, but it's cohesive. And you'll see what I'm talking about as I go on with this. And just take note that I'm not doing it smoothly on purpose. And that's to bring, that also helps when you don't make a straight line, you don't have to fight the line. It blends. That's the tip of the day. Watch how easily this color blends up when I added some lines to it. Just very easy at the end. I don't like color lines when people do really hard line. Just my taste. I like to soften everything up. Oh, I'm using the goldenrod. And then I used sand. I know it popped into the next one. I used sand. And I could tell that I added in canary yellow. You could just see that brightness. So it went canary yellow, sand, and then white on the bottom. Where I don't think I put any canary yellow in on the top. I knew I used it somewhere. And there's my siennas, and I think I'm going to use a little bit of Tuscan red on the bottom, just to bring out that red in the sienna. Oh, there it is. That's my blue, Indigo Blue. See how nicely it doesn't really come out like blue, like if you were using it, like say on like the blue and the electric blue. When you use it with the brown, it's just perfect. And there's some cream. I'm using some cream in there too. The bottom leaves are, I start out with the darker brown and the white. And I'm just going back with the same pencil blends, just using them in a different order. Whenever you use them in a different order, they come out different. Same pencil. That's a straight green and brown mix. My own personal style, I usually use yellow mixed with green to do leaves. I can't help myself. I always say, you're not going to do it this time, but I always end up picking up that pencil. Okay, now I'm starting the stage. Now, you're going to see me doing some, and you can see me making sort of like, I don't know, like trails of color. And then I'll fill in those colors with the empty space with other greens. So when you look at it at the end, it will have different hues going through it. My darker green, and that's sand. And this is just a matter of picking up pencils in the palette and going with the flow where it feels right. And that took me a little while, and then I blended it out with some cream. And there it is, the first part of this video. I will do the second part tomorrow, and we will start, the second part will be the finished picture, and then we will start a really big week of color. And by the end of next week, I'm bumping you all up to intermediate levels because you will have all the basics you need. Take care.